The first thing I noticed wasn't the suitcase by the door. It was the smell. A faint sweet scent clinging to her clothes, something that didn't belong to her. Not her perfume, not her lotion. Something warmer. Masculine. A scent that made my stomach twist so violently I had to steady myself on the wall. "Babe." Lily called from the hallway, her voice too bright, too practiced. "I'm home." Home. The word felt like a lie being forced into my living room. I tried to greet her normally, but my throat tightened. She stepped around the corner, sun-kissed, hair messy from travel, smile a little too wide. She threw her arms around me, pressing her cheek to mine. "You okay?" she asked. I nodded, because the truth would have shattered something too early. And I knew, somehow instinctively, that this wasn't the moment. That the real story was still hiding behind her eyes. And I needed to wait. Observe. Listen. Slowly. The first warning sign was the way she held her phone. Always with the screen tilted away from me. Always face down. She used to toss it anywhere. Couch cushions, kitchen counters. But after her girl's trip, it practically never left her hand. The second sign was the silence. Lily talked. Always. About everything. But now she paused often mid-sentence as if censoring herself. She would smile at nothing, then hide it. She would bite her lip, an old nervous habit, whenever I asked about the trip. "How was it?" I asked one night, 2 days after she'd returned. "Good," she said quickly. Too quickly. We relaxed. We drank. You know, girl stuff. Her voice trembled slightly on girl stuff. I noted it. Let it sit. Let her believe I didn't hear the quiver. Because denial isn't stupidity. It's strategy when you're waiting for truth to reveal itself. The real fracture came a week later. I woke in the middle of the night to the sound of her whispering in the bathroom. The door was closed, but I could see the line of light at the bottom. "Yeah, I miss you too." Each word carved into me like glass. Silence. Then a softer voice. "No, he doesn't suspect anything." My pulse slammed in my ears. I didn't confront her. Not then. Something darker, more controlled, took hold of me. I needed facts. Proof. The truth, stripped of emotion. So I waited until she left for work the next morning. And I searched. Not frantic. Not angry. Precise. Her phone was locked. But her laptop wasn't. And there it was. A message thread. A name I didn't recognize. Dozens of texts. Memes. Photos. A hotel room selfie. Him behind her, barely visible in the frame. His hand on her waist. And one message that stopped my breath entirely. "I'm scared, Aaron. I'm late." Another. "If I'm pregnant, what do we do?" A reply from him. "We'll figure it out. Just don't tell him yet." The room went cold, my hands numb as I scrolled. Every click felt like peeling skin from bone. Every word was a punch. Pregnant. By another man. While she laughed, danced, swam, and slept in another man's arms on a trip I'd helped her pay for. I sank onto the couch and stared at the screen. The world tilting around me. And yet beneath the heartbreak, beneath the raw fury, a strange calm settled in. This wasn't the end of my story. It was only the beginning. I waited until dinner that night. She came home exhausted, maybe expecting me to ask about her day. I set her laptop on the table instead. "Want to explain?" I asked quietly. Her eyes widened. Her breath hitched. The blood drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. Where did you explain?" I repeated. She collapsed into the chair. Tears bursting immediately. Not silent tears, loud, messy sobs that shook her whole body. The kind meant to elicit sympathy, confusion, forgiveness. The kind she used to cry when she wanted to manipulate a situation. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she choked. "It was one night. I was drunk. I was stupid. I didn't think." "Stop." The word echoed. She froze. I leaned back, studying her. Watching the way she avoided my eyes. Watching the fear settle in her expression. She wasn't crying because she'd betrayed me. She was crying because she'd been caught. "When were you going to tell me you might be pregnant?" I asked. She flinched so violently her fork clattered to the floor. "I am not sure yet," she stammered. "I was scared. I didn't want you to leave me. You should have thought of that before climbing into someone else's bed." She covered her face with her hands, sobbing harder. For a moment my chest tightened. A small, treacherous part of me still loved her, still wanted to protect her. But then I remembered the messages. We'll figure it out. Don't tell him yet. The anger returned, slow and hot. You're going to tell him, I know, I said calmly. She lifted her head, confused. What? And you're going to ask him to meet you? Tomorrow. Her lip trembled. Why? Because I want to look him in the eyes, I said. And I want him to understand exactly what he ruined. He agreed to meet. A small cafe downtown. Public enough to avoid a scene. Private enough to make a point. When he walked in, he looked young, mid-20s, nervous, clearly scared. He kept glancing around like he was expecting me to punch him. I didn't. Violence wasn't part of the plan. I simply slid a folder across the table. He frowned. Opened it. Inside were screenshots of the messages. Photos. Calls. All printed cleanly, neatly. And beneath those, a copy of his company's code of conduct. And what's this supposed to be? He asked quietly. You're sleeping with a married woman, I said. And you used business funds from your insurance job to book that hotel room. You used your work phone to talk to her. Your job doesn't tolerate fraud or misconduct. His face drained. If you don't want this packet sent to your employer, I continued, you will do exactly as I say. Starting with disappearing from her life permanently. He swallowed. Hard. And the pregnancy? You'll pay child support if it's yours. Privately. No contact. No relationship. No drama. He nodded quickly, sweat beading on his forehead. And if it's not mine, I added, I walk away clean. No legal battles. No dragging me into your mess. He agreed to everything. When Lily finally arrived, late, ashamed, red-eyed, he wouldn't even look at her. She tried to speak to him. He stood, whispered, I'm sorry, and walked out. She stared after him, confusion and betrayal mixing on her face. As if she were the victim. You said you wanted both of you to pay, I told her quietly. Now you have. But what about us? She whispered. I stood. There is no us. Not anymore. A week later she called me. Her voice was shaking. The test came back, she said. And it's negative. A long silence stretched. So, she continued, weakly hopeful, maybe we can. No, I said. The baby wasn't the betrayal. Your choices were. She broke again, crying into the phone. But I didn't hang up. Not out of care. Out of closure. You didn't lose me because of the pregnancy scare, I told her softly. You lost me the moment you stopped protecting what we had. Then I ended the call. And for the first time in weeks, I could breathe.